your home for Northeast Ohio soccer. This is Breaking Lanes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Breaking Lanes podcast presented by Kronis Academy, ND Construction, Island Tan, Ohio Euromotor Cars. And today's special guest, formerly of Cleveland State, now of TenX Performance, Tanji Sarver. Tanji, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And before we get started, we are in a different location today. We are at Pinnacle Sports out in Medina. Pinnacle Sports is the home of international soccer where Tanji played. So we figured why not give it a different place to film today and talk about some different things. And Tanji's gym, 10X, is opening inside of Pinnacle Sports, and we will definitely get into that, which is another reason that we are inside Pinnacle today. But let's jump right into it. Tanji, what brought you to the game of soccer? Very broad question, but always like to start with how you got there.
Yeah, I would say my family, to start. My aunt, my cousins, my uncles all played. So naturally, it was just something the kids do in the Sarver family. So I would say, yeah, really just my family putting me into the sport and being good role models of the sport.
Where did you grow up playing?
So I grew up playing for my city at about 4, and I actually started playing for internationals at the age of 6. So I was in the club for about 12 years total, so a long time.
Talk about your experience with internationals. Internationals, obviously one of the most historic clubs in Ohio, if not the country, especially on the girls' side. Talk about how internationals built you as a player, and maybe what was it like playing for your aunt?
Yeah, so playing for my aunt was one of the best experiences I could have. Obviously, it comes with some challenges as well, but internationals really not only built me as a strong player, but a person as well, like discipline, responsibilities, all those types of things that you need as an athlete, especially wanting to play at the collegiate level. I would say internationals prepared me the most for that.
What do you think makes internationals so special of a club?
I would say it being a family setting. Um, you have older girls, you have the youth players. I think the coaching staff being able to coach multiple teams, I think it's really just a family environment and like they say, like all for one for all type of deal. So that's what I would say. Internationals is one of the smaller clubs, I believe, and having that community I think is very important, especially growing up and preparing for the collegiate level.
Talk about some of the teams you played on early on. What was your experiences like? What are some teams you can pinpoint that were super fun for you, or you just remember being a really good organized team?
Yeah, I mean, definitely in my like youth years, I would say the most memorable thing was my teammates for sure. To this day, we still have a group chat that we meet up every summer when everyone's home. So I would say that is the most memorable, is those lifetime friendships that I made. And then obviously when I got a little bit older, I played ECNL. So making it to nationals, that was always a fun. We actually came runner up in the championship game. So that is something that I always look back on and just enjoy those moments with my lifelong friends, honestly.
What do you think the benefits of playing ECNL are right now? Obviously, ECNL is definitely across the board the strongest league you can be playing in whatever club you're at. What do you think the benefits to ECNL are?
Yeah, I would just say the physicality of ECNL, the discipline it takes, the commitment it has, and also the exposure you can get from playing ECNL, like the showcases and all those things. It just really puts your name out there, gives you a chance to play in front of coaches and just get that overall experience and pressure, I would also say. I think pressure is a privilege, so being able to play in front of hundreds of coaches for one game, knowing that you kind of have to perform at your best, but also realizing that you still have to play your game no matter who's watching. I think that's very important from an ECNL setting.
What was the adjustment like from you when you first joined an ECNL team? How were you able to adjust your game, and was it difficult for you?
Not necessarily, just because I think internationals, no matter what age you're at, they treat whether you're ERL, ECNL, still in the youth, you still have the same expectations as you would any league. So I think it wasn't a hard transition for me. I just think we knew that we were capable of doing more things and we could go far. So that's basically it.
What was your first team in ECNL like?
Fun. I would say being able to travel, going on bus trips for overnight games, like all that stuff, it's was more so about, like I said, my lifelong friends being in the hotel room, being on the bus for 8 hours and getting Bob Evans is something I always remember. Not necessarily the games in themselves, just because I'm someone that treats every game the same, no matter where I'm at,
Absolutely.
whether I'm on the road, whether I'm home. So I would just say it was fun to be young and to be with my friends for a whole weekend.
What is a typical training session like at internationals at any level?
Hard. I think some people are scared of what internationals practices may look like, but in all honesty, they're just good. They're structured, they're important, they're necessary. I think every training session has true intention, and that's really all you can ask for when you want to go far.
Talk about your high school playing career. What led to your eventual decision to play at Cleveland State, and how did you feel prepared going into the recruiting process?
Yeah, so for high school, I did end up playing 1 year for my school. I went to Green High School. I decided to give my freshman year a try just because I didn't want to regret not playing high school soccer. Um, Eventually, I got hurt during that high school season and decided I wasn't going to go back. I did it once, and I knew playing for internationals would allow me to prepare better because I did want to play collegiate soccer, and the exposure and the kind of familiarity
You got it.
of playing against these Division II, Division III schools would be helpful for me in my decision process of recruiting.
How do you feel the talent level at the club scene is compared to the high school scene, whether that's in Ohio or in general?
Um, for me personally, I thought internationals prepared me a lot better. I went to a public school. We weren't a big school in soccer. Like, that wasn't really our sport. So it was fun for me to have friends my freshman year, that kind of stuff, and be in that team environment. But in all honesty, it didn't compare to the international setting.
When you were in the recruiting process, when you ended up at Cleveland State, what was that like trying to find the right school for you?
Yeah, so it was a little tricky. I thought I wanted to go far away from home. I thought I wanted to go somewhere warm, all that stuff, but I realized Cleveland State was right for me. I was far enough from home to where I lived in an apartment, but I also was able to get home in one day if I needed to. And that was something that I learned growing up that was really important to me, to be around my family, for my family to come to my games and all that stuff. And I just loved the downtown setting. So that's how Cleveland State became my choice.
What was their recruiting pitch to you that you can remember? What was the selling point specifically? Obviously, you mentioned the downtown, but
Yeah.
soccer-wise and campus-wise, what was the seller on Cleveland State for you?
Probably just that nothing was given. That was something I didn't want to be promised, something that wasn't gonna come true. So being told like, "Hey, I see you fitting in here, but also when you get here, you're gonna have to earn your spot." That was something I appreciated. I didn't want to be like lied to or anything like that, and I still wanted to prove myself. I didn't want anything handed to me, and I may have learned that the hard way, but that's what happened, and so I was appreciative of that honesty.
When you got on campus, what was your first kind of reality check to the college scene compared to club or high school, anything you've done before? Was there like a certain challenge to you that you realized, oh, wow, this is college soccer?
Yeah, I would say going from playing at internationals my whole life, playing ECNL, going to college and pretty much not playing my freshman and sophomore year was humbling. It was hard, but it also taught me a lot of things, not only about myself, but collegiate soccer as well.
How do you view the competition in the Horizon League?
Um, Obviously it mid-major, so I think at least for my like senior year, a lot of the teams are very similar and it can be anyone's game. For us, a lot of ties, lot of close calls. So really, it's hard to say. Obviously, we have our top few teams like Milwaukee and stuff, but it could be anybody's game. And so we kind of had to go into every game. It can go either way. It's whoever plays their best and who can last longer, pretty much.
Who would you say is the biggest rival to Cleveland State? What was a game that you and your locker room were just always up for every time?
Probably NKU, RMU, that kind of stuff. If you would ask the locker room, it was everyone. We wanted to win every game. It was every team. I wouldn't say there was one specific one over and now.
Mhm.
Also, coming from Cleveland State, I would say RMU maybe, but in the locker room you have girls from Kentucky, you have girls from Cincinnati, so it really just depends on where you're from and what's your rival.
What would you say the toughest away place to play, whether it's in the Horizon League or not, that you have gone and played at would be?
I would say Purdue Fort Wayne or RMU just because I'm not a personal fan of grass fields. So that would be mine.
What makes you not a personal fan of grass fields? That's a question I've been meaning to ask a lot of people. It's a good, huge debate between soccer players.
I feel like just the area we're in, the climate we're in, it's hard to keep grass good. I think if we were playing in Florida, I would love to play on grass. So ECNL showcases that we're in grass in Florida, amazing. Here, the holes, the long grass, it's thick, it's long, like the ball rolls slow. It's just hard when you train on a turf field and you're used to playing at a quick speed. It's kind of frustrating when your speed goes down.
What would you say you could pinpoint from your Cleveland State career that would be one game that sticks in your head that you remember?
Not in the Horizon League, but I would say my junior year playing at Akron. Obviously I'm from Akron, so all my family was there. I grew up going to the men's games my whole life. I still go to the men's games, so being able to play on that field that I watched the men play at such a young age and having my parents sit in our season ticket seats that we normally sat at was amazing. And I think we unfortunately lost that game, but our team played very well, so that is something I'll always remember.
Transitioning back to ECNL a little bit, talk about the showcases that you've been to. Was there one that you remember that you liked a lot, and what is so special about going to them?
Yeah, I would say the warm weather because most of them were warm. I loved going to Arizona. I think I went twice to Arizona, and just the food, the being in the desert was cool. Going with like my mom and stuff for those longer trips were fun, and just like being together with my teammates and our families and spending time together. That is what I would say my favorite one is. But yeah.
What did you do once you were in college? What did you do club wise in the off season that helped you continue to prepare for your upcoming Cleveland State season?
Yeah, so my junior year going into my senior year, I got to play for International's WPSL program, and that truly helped a lot with my fitness and my style of play. Years before, I played for Ambassadors, I think for 2 years, and the year going into my freshman year, I just trained on my own. But I would say overall, Internationals helped prepare me the most, and I'm forever grateful for that experience.
What was the Ambassadors experience like? Obviously, Ambassadors is a club that goes and plays out of the country a lot now. They were in the WPSL when you were with them. What was the experience like playing at that club?
It was pretty chill, I would say. It was a lot of pickup, and they just kind of allowed us to play quickly 8v8s, 6v6s, get our fitness level up, and the rest was kind of done on your own. Comparing that to internationals, it was more structured training like collegiate soccer is. So it was a little bit different. Ambassadors was nice because if you had things you had to work on, you could work on that on your own, but be able to play, pick up in practice. And then we also had our 11v11 games, but international is more structured practice, I would say.
And Internationals is coming into their second season with a WPSL. Talk about the first season. You mentioned you played junior year into your senior year. What was that experience like, and how do you view the WPSL as a whole as it grows?
Yeah, I think the WPSL is a great opportunity, especially for collegiate athletes, and it was fun. I mean, it was the first year Internationals was in it. I got to play with my friends that I played with since I was little, like Margie Brown. I remember she had an assist to me at Cleveland State, actually, we were playing at. So that was like super fun to just be able to do the things we grew up doing together. So that was awesome, and also just being reunited with everyone else and killing it in the WPSL. So I would just say, yeah, winning games was always fun.
How would you say the WPSL can continue to grow if you had one suggestion to the league?
I think every team can just structure their stuff like internationals. Honestly, I think are some amazing WPSL teams that are similar to internationals that have the commitment, have the physicality that internationals brings, and I think that will only continue to grow, and these college players continuing to join the WPSL and work hard over the summer, I think that will only grow the WPSL.
What is your outlook on the levels of the women's game as it continues to grow? Obviously, in the last couple of years, I think the women's game is much stronger than it has been, especially with just women's sports as a whole. With you have Cleveland Soccer Group bringing in Cleveland Astra. There's the WPSL internationals now. There's USLW with Force. What do you think about the current state of the women's game?
I think, like you said, it's growing. It's awesome. And I think a lot of these players are building a name not only for themselves, but for the young girls. And I think that's inspiring.
What are your future hopes? Are you looking to continue playing, or are you focusing fully on TenX?
Right now, focusing on TenX, nothing serious. Obviously, I always want to be a part of soccer, but my career, I've accepted. I chose to step away at a good point, at a happy point, and that was like a goal for myself to walk away knowing I had fun and like I can step away proud of my career, I would say, rather than not so happy, whatever the case may be. So I think that was something I kind of took into my senior year, knowing like, hey, I'm going to make the most of this because once I walk away, I want to be grateful for the experiences that I did have.
Now that we've talked about TenX, let's jump into that. Let's start right with the name. How did you come up with the name TenX Performance?
Yeah, so number 10 was my soccer number. Number 10 was my aunt's soccer number. It's kind of a family number. And 1010 is an angel number for me. So I'm always seeing 1010. My aunt and I are always texting back when we check our phones and it's 10:10 o'clock. So 1010 kind of started as my angel numbers. I actually have a tattoo of 1010. So when I was deciding to start this business, I was struggling to find a name that suited what I wanted to do, but also meant something and had a story behind it, but wasn't like, oh, hey, here's the story straight up front. I wanted it to be a little bit of a, hey, what does this mean kind of thing. So I chose 10X because 10 and then the X is a Roman numeral of 10. And 1010 basically just means like stay positive, you're on the right path. Whatever comes in your way, you can overcome. And so that was something that kind of carried me through college. And so when I came up with 10X, it kind of was like, oh yeah, that's it. And it was available. And so I ran with it.
Talk about the process of building TenX. What are you offering, first of all?
Yeah, so currently right now I'm partnering with International Soccer Club, so running a lot of their performance training. And then eventually as things get rolling, I'll have my own clientele. One-on-one, I want to do some online training, obviously small groups, all that good stuff, focusing a lot on like speed, agility, strength, and power.
And you are working with the WPSL team as well?
Yes.
What is your regime for when they come into TenX? What are you teaching them and trying to help them build?
Yeah, so for the WPSL team, it's a little bit different because they're home. They have their summer packets that they are given to from school. So giving them the option to be in the weight room, it's not mandatory for them. It's just a resource for them to have. So if they want to come in, I structure my workouts kind of based on what their summer packet would look like and kind of go from there. So the ones that stay, they come in and we do about an hour in the weight room, and eventually we will do some speed work and agility out on the field as well.
And what about for a typical internationals team? How do you structure a plan for, say, a younger team and then the top ECNL high school team? What's different in your plans?
Yeah, honestly, not much. Reps and sets based on where they are in their season is the main part, but from youth kids to ECNL to college kids, I structure them all pretty much the same with just a few adjustments.
What would you say your favorite drill to run is?
In the weight room or on the field?
Both.
In the weight room, I love compound lifts, so squats, deadlifts, cleans, all that stuff. Those are fun. I enjoy them, so I like coaching them. On the field, probably some band work, resistance, sprinting.
How did you want to get into personal training and gym training yourself? Like, a lot of people don't even like working out at all. So why did you decide to make it a career?
Yeah, so in high school, I got into it a lot on my own. Every day after school, I would meet up with my friend at the gym, and that's kind of how it started. I created an Instagram for myself and was posting my workouts. I love social media. So I would really just post my workouts on Instagram, TikTok, whatever it may be. I had a passion for recording the workouts and helping other people. And so that's kind of how it started. Leading into college, I couldn't really do that as much because we had structured team lifts and I was playing. So when I was struggling my freshman, sophomore year with not playing as much as I would like, mental health, all that stuff, it was kind of my outlet. When I went home for summer or when we were on Christmas break, those kind of things, I was always back in the weight room. And so it was just kind of something that meant a lot to me, that helped me kind of release my emotions in a way. And also I wanted to help people, and I enjoyed giving my friends workouts to do. I enjoyed posting that stuff. So that's kind of where it started. And then I went to Cleveland State to study exercise science and kind of learn more about the structured workouts and how to run things. And that's when it really like set in, like, oh, I think I can do this. And there was some doubt. Obviously, it's a male dominant field. So coming from a female, people are kind of like, what are you doing? Like, you're starting your own business, let alone a performance gym. Like, it's kind of hit or miss to some people. So, and that kind of just inspired me a little bit more. I know I'm capable of doing it. So really just doing it and proving the people wrong that ever doubted me. So.
What are some of the benefits you view as being inside of Pinnacle Sports, which is such a huge complex?
Yeah, I mean, obviously being able to work with internationals and kind of give back to the club that helped me get to where I am, that's obviously important. And I wish I had that growing up at internationals. So one, that's important. And then also all the other athletes that are in it that come through Pinnacle, like with sports medicine here, with the volleyball clubs and just the rec leagues, and then Sogility and the youth programs, the camps over the summer. I think it's just a good place to be, to get the name out there and to also attract the athletes and the parents, the individuals that aren't athletes. I am also willing to work with them too. So we're not strictly just here for athletes. We're here to make everyone better.
What would you say is the biggest advantage to having your aunt in the building?
Awesome. She's ran a business before, so having her as kind of my mentor has been amazing, not only in soccer, in life, but now as a business owner as well. So that's been amazing, and she's helping me out a lot, so I appreciate it.
What's your biggest Keri Sarver story that you know from her playing days?
Her playing days. Oh, I don't know. I know we played very similar, as Dropko would say. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That's what I would say.
Talk about playing for Drovko. Obviously, you grew up playing for your aunt, Keri Sarver, here, but you also played for Drovko. Drovko is such a huge inspiration to the game around this area specifically. What was it like playing for Drovko growing up?
It was hard. You know, it was challenging, especially because he's family to me as well. So I know Drovko and Keri pushed me hard, and it was frustrating because they were family. And when I was young, it was hard to balance, oh, I know they just want to make me better, or they hate me. Like, I'd go home crying to my mom, like, why? But she was like, it's because they know you can do better. They know you can go farther. And so having that experience was obviously amazing. And I think what Drovko and Keri have done here is absolutely amazing. And I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have gotten to Cleveland State without them. And they're just an inspiration to everyone, I would say.
What are skills that you can pinpoint you learned from Drovko and skills you can pinpoint that you learned from Keri?
Yeah, I would say Keri, I learned kind of the knowledge of reading the game and anticipating things. And from Drovko, I would say the physicality and learning how to kind of deal with other players. We had some talks in my days growing up of my yellow cards and stuff. And I would say, Drovko really taught us how to be physical and how to do it the right way. And Keri really gave us the vision of the game.
What is your favorite Drovko saying?
Oh, gosh.
And you can say whatever you want. It's okay.
You're running around like chickens with your head cut off. That's what I would say.
What about Keri?
Keri would probably be a more personal one. Just her coming from the sidelines and probably telling me to like be quiet or something, like don't argue with the refs, something like that.
Now that you're a performance trainer, and you mentioned college packets earlier on, what was your college packet like at Cleveland State? And when you got it as a freshman, were you surprised?
Not necessarily. Just because I had experience in the weight room from my own stuff. So I wasn't surprised of my summer packet, and in all honesty, my junior going into my senior year packet was a lot better and improved from my freshman year. So I wasn't too surprised. At the time of like my freshman, sophomore year, we didn't run a fitness test. So really my junior, senior year, it was like, oh, like this is for real.
How are you as a personal trainer able to adjust? Say you have 3 players in the room and one of them is not up to the same level as the other 2. How
Yeah.
are you able to adjust your session to make it so that player is able to understand?
Yeah, so there is a lot of like regression and progress that is made in the gym, and it's really just adapting and having those things in the back of my head in case that were to happen. There's a lot of similar movements done. So say you're doing a compound lift, there's obviously things that we can do to adjust, but also making sure that that athlete doesn't feel embarrassed
Mhm.
or feel left out, and making sure you have them do something that's similar to everyone else so that they also are feeling included.
What is your biggest motivator in the gym that you tell your players or your trainees that you think helps when you might be feeling down on a workout?
I would just say, especially when it comes to PRs, a lot of youth kids are, oh, I PR'd on this, I PR'd on that, and just a reminder that you're not going to PR every day.
Mhm.
Just like if you were running, if you were playing soccer, you're not going to be perfect every day. So just remembering that consistency is what really matters, and some days you might not be able to lift those 25-pound dumbbells, but the next day you might. Everything fluctuates, so I just feel like remembering that um you're not going to PR every day, basically.
How would you say training with 10x will make a player differentiate from the average player?
Yeah, I think it prepares you for college, one, and it just allows you to be stronger. I think performance training comes in a lot with injury prevention, and being able to expose yourselves to these things and grow your speed and grow your strength not only helps you develop as a player, but also prepares you for the years to come.
Talk about building your gym. It obviously just got done recently. You just painted it. We'll show some clips of it as
Yeah.
well. You'll be able to see. What was that process like? Who helped you out? And when were you kind of given the green light to go ahead and that you were going to have your own place?
Yeah, so it was a talk throughout my spring season at Cleveland State, my spring semester. I really decided a few months before I graduated that hey, I'm gonna do this, and like we're gonna start as soon as I graduate.
Mhm.
So I actually throughout my senior year I was working on my personal training certification along with my degree, just so I had that as soon as I graduated. So that was kind of the first step, is I wanted to get that done. And then I would say Keri, Mike Kassenheiser, my mom, my dad, my boyfriend and his family all came. They helped me clean. My mom has done a lot of painting, a lot of cleaning. So, yeah, she's helped a lot, but it's not finished yet. So we still have work to do. We're kind of taking it step by step. And starting with the WPSL team, we're able to work around that and do what we can as of now.
What is your next steps with the gym once you are able to take your own clientele?
Yeah, so really just getting my own clientele, like you said. Starting in June, I'll be working with more internationals teams, and once that schedule kind of finalizes, then I will start hoping to get my own clients, getting some small groups, and then I also eventually want to allow 10x to have online performance training too, as well. I know that's pretty popular, and really just growing the social media as well. That would be awesome. So yeah.
What goes into a personal training certificate?
Yeah, so I got mine through NASM, and it's basically like an online college course. There's a lot of chapters, sections, quizzes, and then you study and you take your exam. So I actually took mine last week. I had to go to a testing center and go through all the stuff you would go through for like an ACT, and sit down and take my exam, and at the end you either pass or you fail. So it was stressful, but yeah, I got it done, and I'm currently now starting my coursework to be a certified nutrition coach, and then after that, I will also be getting my corrective
Wow,
exercise certification. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
What is your personal favorite workout? And you just go for an average day ready workout. What are you doing?
I'm probably doing a little mix of like a hit workout, or some circuit training. That's just my favorite because you sweat a lot, you get out of breath, you're also using some weights, and you're also doing some cardio, and I can have a really good workout in about 45 minutes. So that's my favorite, especially on days where I have a lot of stuff to do.
And Tanji, before we get ready to close out, talk a bit about how soccer has prepared you for life in terms of you played for your aunt, you played for Dravko, and now you have 10X. How would you say the game of soccer put you where you are today?
Yeah, I would say really my discipline, my time management, and my responsibilities, and also like communication. I feel like running your own business, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, and international/soccer has prepared me for that, making sure I'm on time to things. And honestly, I'm probably too early for things, but I'd rather be early than late. So that is one thing. And also just like the discipline of getting things done and the responsibility of, hey, this is on me and I got to do this, has really set me up to be successful, I think.
And final question for you. Who would you like to thank for along your journey, whether soccer, 10X? I give everybody the opportunity to address the camera and thank who you want to thank.
Yeah, I guess I would thank my family 100%. They carried me through soccer on times where I wanted to quit. They carried me through school when things got tough. And now starting this business, I couldn't have done it without them. So shout out to my family.
And then before we go, how can people find 10X and you on social media? You mentioned you love social media.
Yeah, so on TikTok and Instagram at 10x.performance.
Awesome.
Yep.
Tanji, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
And this has been another episode of the Breaking Lanes podcast, streaming on WAOH and presented by Kronis Academy, live from Pinnacle Sports today. And we also make sure you check out 10X Performance on all socials. Tanji, thanks again.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.